Howdy YouTube, welcome to another video by me, Harper Valentine, aka Nick.
Howdy.
A couple of weeks back I did a video on cartoons and drawing along and doing the Brad Colbo cartooning course. I've also signed back up to Skillshare. I signed up to it before and never really found a lot for what I wanted. But since getting the new iPad and being able to draw better and finding things a bit easier to do, and I found a fair few courses make a bit more sense. One of those courses was Sydney. The course was developing your own style. It's something I struggle with. And doing Brad's cartooning course, I learned sort of that nice crisp highlights and shadows line and things like that. And the cartoons they end up being quite rounded and quite smooth, and I was really pleased with. But then I started doing this course with her and following along this, how to work out what you like and what you don't like about your work and what needs to go. What I developed and discovered is, obviously I draw a lot of females, but they tend to be quite empowered. I feel my style is messy. It's not clean enough, it's not sharp enough and whatever, which I would like to get rid of, but it's the way I draw. And the drawing on layers with Procreate does mean I can draw the messiness and then draw over the top and get rid of that mess, which has helped. But one of the projects that this course asked for was to find 3 artists that you like and redraw their images and try and copy it, mimic it. Now, we all know plagiarism and blatant copying is a bad idea, and I did copyright law for A-level, so I'm really honed in on people stealing your work and things, and used to get very annoyed when people used to chop my name off of my photos. So I'm very careful about this. It's a case of like working out how someone does something. And she took a picture by Ross Draws and recreated it almost exactly. I also learned through her what the boom, smash, colour fade stuff that Ross Draw screams out and makes stupid noises over that irritates me. That's what he does, and she explained what he does in those flashes and whatever, the colour burn and all that. So thanks, Sydney. So with that in mind, I took the first artist, the one I did the video the other week, Alicja Nai. I now know how to say her name. So I started this, and this is time-lapse. I copied a video of Alysha's, followed along, and again I've ended up with something I'm actually quite pleased with. I watched a couple of the videos and then played through what she did. Her line art is a lot heavier still than mine. Drawing underneath the line art baffled me. You draw the line art and you make a layer underneath and you colour in there, so you end up with this massive skin but no outlines, and it ends up a messy blur. Then I did hair, coloured in the eyes. Again, following Brad's course as well, adding the shading in blocks and then blurring it. That also made more sense now. And then I started to play around with the hair and try to change the colour of her, because of blonde. Far too ordinary. And we end up with the girl with turquoise hair. Then I did a ton of sparkles over the top to make it whoosh. I actually end up with something worthwhile. Now, another artist I like by the name of Royo. I took one of his pictures and tried to copy it. His style is messy. It is lots of lines and lots of stuff. Very seductive, clearly influential on my earlier work. And I just did a mimic straight side to side and see how he drew and whatever. My face still looks slightly different, and I end up tweaking it a bit more, but it did end up close to the original. A lot of detail in the corset and the outfit. And then we end up sort of getting rid of the artist's version for a bit, adding in some background, moving it, tweaking it. Left it for a couple of days, came back to it, tried to work out what was not quite right about it, and liquefied it, pushed it in a bit, changed the shape of it a bit, moved her leg a bit. I also put fangs on her to make her a little bit more vampiric, and ended up with this. Well, there you go. That's 2 out of 3. And for the third, I picked an artist I've loved for years, Ilya Kushinov, a Russian artist that lives in Japan, and I'm not sure if he works for Studio Ghibli, but in the same sort of field. So this original picture I had as my wallpaper on my phone for ages, and it always reminded me of somebody I used to know, so that's part of the reason why I picked this. I started off by trying to get the proportions equal, making the face the same sort of size, put one picture next to the other, and one I did a really close copy of side by side and tried to get it exact. I didn't notice until I watched it back later that I've clearly made the eyes too big and the nose too small. It was only going away, leaving it, coming back to it, that I realised that that was the problem. And this really did work well, because the way he's shaded, he's blocked in colour around the nose and around the cheeks and things. He's pasted in the colour and blocked it in, then smudged and blended it. I changed the colour of the backdrop and then realised how little I'd actually coloured in, and some of it was just empty. So I then had to go back and colour it in white and get rid of the transparency. Then I sort of left it, came back and realised that it wasn't quite right. So I made the eyes smaller, made the nose bigger, blocked it in a bit more. Then I just extended it. Pretty much with that done, I took the original off and looked at it and thought, yeah, that's really good. Then noticed that she didn't have a shoulder and she looked like she only had one arm. So a last tweak was to draw the shoulder in, and that's pretty much it. So there you go. There's the third artist and my rendition. I like it so much, I've actually made this picture my wallpaper on this iPad now. For the first picture I've actually made and created that I'm happy to look at all the time. It does look almost identical to the original, but that was the idea, wasn't it? And I like the idea of the blocks of colour, blocking in pieces and then getting the smudge tool and then blending it, which I really like in Procreate. It's suitable to my style. I've got a dog, having an ear and a back scratch down here. As I say, there are probably plenty more artists I could use and reference and try to copy and then learn from. Jason Shear, J. Scott Campbell, that'd be one. Tanya LaHoe, who took that and I copied her photograph to create that painting. Her fairies and things, quite influential to me. There are many, I could probably sort of try and copy some of their pieces and then take a little bit here and a little bit there, and you merge them all together and then you end up with something that's me, my own style, my own design. So yeah, maybe you should try it. Pick 3 artists that you like, just try and copy their style and see how you go. If you do end up with a picture that you like, link it to me, post it on Instagram or Twitter, and I'd love to see it. But also remember to give credit. Don't copy stuff and try and pass it off as your own. Nothing worse. There's people that take pictures on Tumblr and just shift the colour a little bit and then claim that they own the picture. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. If you stuck along with this and watched this all, I hope it was entertaining and educational even. Leave some comments underneath. Hit the like button, the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and all the rest. But for now, thank you to Alicja Nai, Ilya Kushinov and Royo for their amazing art and their abilities. But for now, that's me and the one down here wanting a back scratch, and hopefully I'll see you all again soon. Bye! There's a dog. Pick 3 artists, not 4, 3. He's been distracted by having a dog. David Bailey or somebody, or Stephen Meisel. There you go. This is not going right. I never do this right on a Friday.